You only win when you win, John. And in crypto, nobody wins.
Just let me flip the taxes, baby.
So I really don't like to make videos in response to negative comments, but I found a way to make a positive video around all of the negative comments that I have been seeing in the last YouTube video. This is the mindset we were taught, right? Bull markets, bear markets, 4-year cycles. But I think that mindset is designed to distract us from what's really going on, and why I personally tend not to focus on cycles, whether things are bullish or bearish, but understanding first order, second order, third order effects. So today we're going to be talking about oil, why oil is sought after still, even in the intelligence era, the why behind what's going on with the US and Iran tension, but again, specifically focusing on the financial market perspective. So if you like these type of videos, make sure you let me know in the comments. And again, if you truly believe in bullish or bearish or the theme bull markets or bear markets, let me know why. Would love to know everybody's opinions. But let's get into what's really happening. Not the dressed up version that the news gives us, but what's actually happening and how this could affect financial markets. Global tempo. This is bigger than geopolitics, and no one's actually asking why. What's the true ulterior motives behind oil? Why is oil so important, and who does oil control? Oil is about tempo, the speed that the world can actually operate at. Oil controls the cost of actually keeping a nation alive. How fast armies move, how fast supply chains rotate, how quickly goods reach shelves, how expensive it is to transport energy. When oil prices spike, the entire tempo of the world slows down. When oil flows freely, the world speeds up. That's the game. People always think protect oil for money. Nah, they protect oil because it determines the rate of the world's progress. You control the world's tempo, you indirectly control the speed that the world operates on. If you control the world's tempo, you indirectly control the world's outcome. It's not about territory anymore. It's about time advantage. And when I do my research, the most valuable thing that we have in today's world is time. Something that we should definitely cherish. And when you think about the equation of wages and time, it seems that we are locked into this rat race, this loop of extraction. And this is why it's so important, in my opinion, to own assets. That's why the tension of oil always shakes markets, because the markets are reacting to the potential shift of the global metronome, or the change in the global regime, the new financial regime, the financial reset. You hear all of the themes, and oil sits right there at the nucleus. But there's a world where this oil that was the pinnacle of the industrial era takes a backseat to something more important in the intelligence era.
These advanced network systems are the future, far more efficient than anything we've had before.
Yes, but we need to keep physical infrastructure too. We can't just get rid of everything. Redis get rid of everything.
Are you two obsessing over digital assets again?
Oil, which is the choke point of the industrial era, not the intelligence era. Next era, the one we're entering now, has new bottlenecks, and they're far more powerful. First is energy infrastructure itself, not the fuel, but the capacity to deliver electricity at a massive scale. And you probably hear this a lot from billionaires like Elon Musk. We have a power constraint. We have an energy constraint. The grid isn't large enough. It cannot hold AI scaling. It cannot hold the power, harness the power for AGI or ASI. So in order to truly reach our goal with intelligence, we need more power. And that's why energy is the biggest bottleneck of the intelligence era. Grid power, transmission lines, data centers, robotics, automation, all require energy, and everybody's trying to figure out who's going to be able to harness or create cheap energy. In the intelligence era, the new oil is pure electricity. Second is compute, the ability to process information faster than anyone else. Chips, GPUs, data centers, cooling, whoever controls compute, intelligence, autonomy, military, economic acceleration, and the speed of innovation. So you can see that the war for compute is far bigger than the actual compute. It's about control. Compute isn't just a luxury, it's a new battlefield. In the third choke point, and this is my favorite, industry materials, precious metals, the physical constraint perspective of scaling intelligence. And this is something that a lot of people miss, because I made a video yesterday where everybody in the comments, not everybody, but where people in the comments were saying, oh, the bear market is over. Oh, don't chill Bittensor. Guys, it's not about shilling Bittensor. It's about bringing a perspective of understanding. I was watching an anime the other day called Dr. Stone, right? And the gist of what I'm about to say is everybody on the earth got petrified. And in order for them to reestablish humanity, this is crazy and it just opened my mind. But in order for them to reestablish humanity, it required precious metals, things that we have today that we cannot live as humans. We cannot survive as humans without some of the things today. When you think about all the stuff that's happening right now with this construction, right? None of this would be happening without copper. None of this would be happening without gold. None of this would be happening without platinum. So that's the third constraint. They can't mine enough of this stuff fast enough to keep up with AI and how fast it's scaling. So in my opinion, that's another bottleneck. In my opinion, that's another bottleneck. Glass, carbonate, sulfuric acid. Guys, I don't know if you guys ever watched that anime, but it blew my mind, because when they were rebuilding civilization, these were extremely important items, extremely important physical materials in order for us to scale as humans. So when you hear me talking about AI infrastructure, I'm not specifically only talking about Bittensor. I have a stock portfolio. And if you're in the Patreon, you know this, that is built around the foundations of humanity and where we're headed for the next decade. It's not just, oh, I'm shilling an AI coin. Guys, I'm shilling artificial intelligence infrastructure. Are you not paying attention to what happened between the military, or should I say the government, and Anthropic? I think the reason Anthropic said no to the governmental deal because they didn't want to use the AI for weapons. And this is alleged, but they didn't want to use it. Like the owner said that shit was too dangerous to integrate our AI as a weapon. Too dangerous because the AI is too smart. So like, this is why we need decentralized alternatives. Not to say that if everything was ran through Bittensor, maybe, you know, it can't be controlled and things. I'm not saying that. It's just having an understanding that compute is literally being sought after like crack cocaine in the 80s. I hate to use that analogy, but that's what compute is today. And if we can't scale fast enough because they can't build physical data centers fast enough, they can't mine physical metals fast enough, well, then you will have to, in order to get to your goal, use alternatives. And right there, smack sits right there on the poster boy of compute alternatives is Bittensor. I know some people would say render, but render can't compete, in my opinion, because of the incentive mechanism, or what I like to call the arena of competition between the miners, which provide high quality compute, data, inference, whatever. Things from AI like energy, chips, data centers, EV cars, all depend on it, all require these physical materials in order to scale. That's the next frontier. These are the next bottlenecks, and you're already starting to see countries and nations quietly compete over it. Answer the big question, what do I mean by controlling the tempo of the world? Tempo is the speed at which a nation can respond, innovate, or evolve. If your tempo is faster, you recover quicker, you adapt quicker, you create quicker, you build infrastructure quicker, you deploy AI quicker. Tempo is basically the speed limit of civilization. It's important. This is why countries and nations aren't just competing for oil anymore. They're competing for the biggest grids, the fastest chips, the rarest metals, the most reliable energy supplies, because whoever controls these things control the future of pace. Now let's string this all back to Bittensor, because as y'all know, that's the project or coin or network that I have the most conviction in. If energy and compute become the new oil, then coordination of energy and compute become the new global advantage. Right now, AI is centralized into a few big players. Compute into an open market and a global intelligence grid where every node competes, every model learns, every contributor gets rewarded, and intelligence becomes decentralized. This is important because we just talked about how compute is the next big choke point, and whoever can coordinate or control compute, whoever can coordinate compute globally at the fastest tempo wins. Bittensor is basically the early blueprint for decentralized intelligence, the coordination layer for decentralized compute, the opposite of the closed AI empire and all of these gatekeepers. In a world where tempo matters more than territory, Bittensor represents a world where intelligence itself can scale without global permissions. Oil controls movement. Electricity will control power. Compute will control thought. Now, and that's a big one, because think about it. So many people are just relying on AI. They don't even want to think for themselves. They just say, put it in AI. No research. I just put it in AI, right? Everybody's doing that. In some cases, even I do that, right? So AI is literally controlling human minds. This is fucking crazy when you think about it, because whoever controls compute controls thought. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? That right there should just open everybody's mind to oh shit, Millie cooking. Whoever controls compute controls thought. It's not about, you can pick pick your own fucking AI coins. You don't have to pick what I pick. Pick your own AI coins, but stop missing the plot, the bigger picture, the first order, the second order, the third order effects. Stop missing it. Bittensor will control how fast thoughts can spread. I should drop the mic right there, because that's where the opportunity lies. So let's close this out. When you see tension around oil, always ask why. Ask who benefits. How can it affect me, my family, and my portfolio? See the fight over the old world's temple and recognize the real battle. The battle is already shifting to compute, energy, grid control, and physical materials. We're literally watching the change of a global power structure in real time. New financial markets, a financial reset, a new regime, a new era. Industrial, information, and now we're entering the intelligence era. But if you want me to break down more about my portfolio, be sure to join the Patreon. That's where I share a lot of the stock updates and how I've been coordinating my portfolio around physical constraints of the world, identifying that we cannot get around these constraints in order to scale artificial intelligence. So let the word to the wise be efficient. Stop focusing on if it's a bull market, if it's a bear market. That doesn't even matter right now, because if you focus on that, then you'll definitely miss out on the opportunity. And this is just my opinion, right? Not financial advice, but I was always taught from books that I read from some of the greatest investors. You're never supposed to get excited when everybody else is excited. You're never supposed to be, bullish because everything is bullish. You're bullish when everything is bearish. And I can't stress this enough. I've made the most money in cryptocurrency when it was bearish. It's always been the best time. It's going to feel painful. It's going to feel hurtful. It's going to feel like crypto is dead. We're seeing the articles. But my capital, my portfolio, my net worth has always compounded when I took advantage of fear and blood in the streets. When I took advantage of the fear in the market. Took advantage of the fear in the market. It's not about which coin. It's about identifying the constraints, identifying what AI needs to truly evolve to artificial general intelligence, to AI, because we're just not there yet, right? You hear me casually talk about inference, but it's definitely a bottleneck because everybody can't afford inference right now. Like average retail, they might want AI assistance, but they can't afford the inference. So there's still things that need to be, the game still, pieces need to be played around with to get to where we're working to get to, right? And you'll see AI say, "Oh, we're AIG." You'll see all this. They'll tell you that we're AGI, we're ASI, because why? They want you to buy AI products because most of AI companies are still not profitable yet, right? Still not profitable yet. So they got to make it seem like AGI is here, AI can do this, can do that, they can do a lot, but it still requires deep pockets and human intervention. It's actually equivalent to what politics do, right? Even though we know the economy is shit, it feels like shit is bad, it doesn't feel as it's expanding like they say, but the politics job is to go up there and win your vote. And in order to win your vote, they got to tell you what you want to hear. They got to tell you, GDP is this, and the global economy is this, and they're building up this and this and this. And in some cases, that is true. But a lot of that capital and a lot of that expansion is concentrated within the 1%. Yeah, the 1% is making money. The 1% in pockets and capital, it looks good for them. But retail, we just don't feel that. So it's the same thing with these AI companies. They're going to tell you, like, yeah, AI is this, it can do this, it can change your life, it can make you millions, make you millions. We're not there yet, right? I can't just tell my phone, hey, start trading right now. Trade me some crypto right now. Go make $10,000. Come back when you made $10,000. You still got to do a lot. It's still steps in between that. So we can't get to AGI, ASI without solving these constraints. And while the big brains and the elites and the deep pockets are solving these constraints, as investors, as retail, we're supposed to identify these constraints, place capital in these constraints, and sit back and let the magic happen. Sit back and let the magic happen. So that's what I'm doing. I'm aligning my portfolio for the next 10 years. Bittensor falls perfectly within that thesis that we talk about. And I'm sitting back and let the magic work. Guys, it's the same as if what's happening right now is just, we're entering a new era. Picture everybody on earth getting petrified and turned to stone, right? What are the things that we got to collect to get this rolling? Now, apply that same perspective and mentality to the intelligence era. It's new. They're trying to get it rolling, and they need these things in order for it to scale. And without it, it cannot scale. So now that you have this information, go do your research. Stop fucking asking if it's a bear or a bull market. Stop worrying about what coin, and just think. Ask why. Why is this happening? Who benefits? That will help you figure out what you want to do with your portfolio. Anyway, it's your boy Crypto Millie. I'll see you guys in the next one.